Once upon a time, back in the olden days, free usually meant bad. Free-to-play was a slur thrown at games out to pilfer your hard-earned coin with pay-to-win items disguised as hats. But not anymore. While some titles like that do still exist, it's now entirely possible to play incredible games while paying no money whatsoever. And in fact, there are so many great free games that narrowing it down to just a list of 10 has been incredibly difficult. But we've done it anyway because we're really brave. Here are the 10 best free games you can play on PC. Yes, 2017 was the year of PUBG taking over the gaming world, but quietly, in the background, Epic's Fortnite was accumulating its own crowd of Battle Royale-loving adventurers, with barely a chicken dinner in sight. Fortnite's bright, enticing world and smart building mechanics make for a cleaner, more polished experience, like playing a Pixar version of PUBG with those famous frying pans swapped out for jars of cool blue shield potions. And as long as you steer clear of the cosmetic microtransactions, it's completely, gloriously free. And it's easy to understand why it's so popular. Solo games are tense battles of resolve which elegantly funnel you towards a brutally quick finale. And team games are a brilliant test of your ability to play nicely with others. And if any game can make you feel fine about being sniped by a dabbing pink teddy bear, then it deserves a place on this list. We're not even mad. Well, not anymore anyway. Doki Doki Literature Club is a bit of a hard sell because we can barely even talk about what makes it so brilliant. And at first glance, it might look like every other free anime game you don't play on Steam. Cheerful cartoon teenagers, crisp school corridors, cliched teen romance. But honestly, there's nothing predictable about Doki Doki. Like the club in the game itself, it looks quiet and harmless, but there are dark, unnerving secrets hidden within. It drags you into the story and subverts your expectations in a way that only video games can do. If you've played it right now, you'll be nodding along sagely. And if you haven't and you want to try something genuinely different, get it downloaded on Steam right now, because, it's free. If we wanted to be really dramatic, we could have left this one till last, but we don't want to keep you in suspense. There's a reason why League of Legends is one of the biggest esports games in the world, because it's uniquely challenging and flipping brilliant. Yes, it's an aggressive, often intimidating game, but one that rewards teamwork like no other. It takes ages to master, but when you finally do, it'll feel amazing. And on the plus side, with over 100 million people playing it every month, it's not likely that you're going to struggle to find a game. And if you get really good, you can also consider a lucrative career in pro gaming. Bonus. What kind of god are you? Benevolent, generous and kind? Or are you the power-hungry variety, murdering everyone in your path on your way to greatness? If you're in the latter camp, you've probably already got on swimmingly with Smite. It might look a little over-the-shoulder shootery, but Smite is a MOBA through and through, and yes, it's absolutely free to play. The difference in camera angle from every other MOBA throws up big changes in terms of map visibility, but just means you need to keep on your godly toes when it comes to using those epic powers. And there's plenty to get involved in if you're a little broke before payday as well. You might want to invest a bit to get your full choice of gods, but they're on rotation, so even when you don't want to put your money where your keyboard is, you won't miss out. You almost certainly know about the other Spelunky, a crisp HD roguelike which sees you delving into a series of randomly generated tunnels in search of treasure, pots, and endless angry bats. And, if we're honest, dying repeatedly in the process. It's a brilliant, savage, life-devouring distraction which constantly challenges you to have one more go. But what you might not know is that you can play Spelunky for free, or at least the beautiful, blocky originator that the remaster is based on. It might look simplistic, but it retains the same sense of discovery. The traps are equally vicious, and the damsels are more digitized, if no less distressed. And if anything, it's even more vicious than its enhanced bigger brother, so you still get to enjoy the classic Spelunky experience of dying over and over and over again. Great. It says something about a free-to-play game when the developers take out a microtransaction because someone is using it too much. Digital Extreme's Warframe is exactly that though. This third-person shooter is a game you won't quite believe is actually free. The studio has carefully crafted something that never topples over into cash-grabbing territory, but still gives you plenty to spend on if you're feeling particularly flush. You play as one of the Tenno, an ancient warrior race that comes in 3 deadly flavours of stab and shoot, who, it turns out, have a whole galaxy of other races to murder their way through. What a surprise. Even if you're not here for the story though, you'll stay for the crunchy action, great shooting and compelling grind that's evolved over the years since release. Every shot will have you playing for just one more hour. And another, and another, and so on. It barely needs an introduction, but Hearthstone is, of course, exactly what happens when Blizzard does card games. And yes, the global phenomenon and esport is absolutely free to play. If you haven't already dabbled or lost your life to the luck of the draw, Hearthstone is surprisingly accessible. Like some kind of magical addictive onion though, it's easy to pick up, but peel away those layers and the game just keeps on going down into oblivion. Warcraft classes, expansions, legendary cards, crafting, arcane dust. Keep playing and Hearthstone will keep giving. There's a good balance here too of pay versus play. In theory, beat enough opponents and you'll never need to put your hand in your pocket for card packs. But the reality is a fair balance of your hard cash for more game. Those on the hunt to complete collections will be digging deeper than most, but you won't need to sell a kidney if you're just looking to slay your cards right. Valve's legendary class-based shooter might be more recognisable now for being the gurning poster child of a million YouTube videos about Garry's Mod, and for its spectacular collection of hats, but it still stands out as an immediately accessible, surprisingly generous free-to-play shooter. It endures quite simply because it's so much fun. The character classes all just work, feeling distinct enough that every single match is unique. And there's a pleasing slapstick element to every fight that means you can't stay angry even when you die. Without Team Fortress 2 we wouldn't have the likes of Overwatch, and the fact you can go back and play the inspiration for one of the biggest games in the world for free is the sort of living history lesson that makes gaming great. Fallout Shelter was initially a surprise release on mobile to aid those jonesing for their Fallout 4 fix all the way back in 2015. Yet Bethesda's Vault Sim was so successful that a PC release arrived 2 years later to make sure everyone could micromanage their very own post-apocalypse. And a very pretty and ruthlessly addictive end of the world it is too. Your very own vault starts out small but build power stations, water processing plants and diners that look like they'd serve delicious milkshakes, and dwellers start arriving in droves. Keep everyone happy by putting them in the right jobs and feeding them, and the bottle caps will come rolling in. How bad you feel about pairing up high charisma dwellers to produce post-apocalyptic babies is entirely up to you. Hey, at least the chat-up lines are good. And last, but very much not least, is Paladins. Newly updated with a Battle Royale mode this year, this team shooter has been through some serious evolution since release. Sure, it looks a lot like a game we'll codename Smoverwatch with its loot boxes, cartoon visuals and fast-paced multiplayer, but unlike that game, it is free to play. It's also got an intriguing ability system that's all based on cards, which truly revolutionises how your heroes play. There's a grind ahead if you want to unlock everything without paying a penny, but Paladins constantly serves up XP for just getting involved, and there's a stack of daily quests and achievements to keep you busy. It's somehow still in early access, come on guys, it's surely finished by now, but an excellent collection of hero and addictive unlock system make Paladins far more than just a regular clone. Take that, Cloverwatch. Now the problem with a list like this is that there are about 50 other games we could have included, so we're sorry for missing out Cannibal, Quap, Cave Story, World of Tanks, Dwarf Fortress, Dota, PlanetSide 2 and a million other games you're quite welcome to mention in the comments below. Hit that like button if you spotted any of your favourites, and please subscribe to Logitech G for more weekly shows and features.